pretty easy. Candy's the one that wrote down the stuff on paperwork. This is one of the things where you really need to listen to the person with the experience. And that person is not Candy. That person is me. Candy wanted to reinterpret things in a way that did not work. She wanted to interpret a safe phone number as a phone number that nobody else had, where if there's an emergency, the courts could get a hold of me. Unfortunately, that piece of paper goes to Andrew Wolnez as well. Who gave out my number to Andrew Wolnez? Candy did. Intentionally? No. She just doesn't know how to listen like most of you. You just assume that I'm retarded because I'm different. When I try to explain to you how autism is not what you think it is, what do I get? I get talked over. That's right. You have a cousin or an uncle or a niece or a nephew or somebody that you know is autistic, so you know everything about autism. And so you don't need to listen to what it is that I have to say. You make zero effort to try to understand how mythology about autism is used to harm me every single day. That's right, I called it mythology. All that bullshit that autism speaks wants to push. It's mythology that was disproven in the 90s. Candy screwed up. It happens. Not sure if you noticed, but right here on my YouTube channel, you get to see me screwing up quite often and frequently. Jesus, I forgot my cigarettes again. What the hell? That's literally what I went to my... No, I got them this time. Did Candy mean to give my phone number to Wolnez? No. Did the courts? Yeah, they know exactly what they were doing. And that's one of the problems here. The courts know it ain't right. The courts all know that it puts the victim's life at risk. And it allows their predator just another way to do that. I've had to change my number repeatedly because of stalkers. Change phones too. Oh, sorry. Just trying to get myself run over. I said I was just trying to get myself run over.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Want to buy a knife?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was going to bring you a cigarette, but you found one.
Yeah, thank you though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beverly.
It's kind of hard to touch when you get on the elbow.
All right. There are a lot of safety issues that need to be addressed, but nobody wants to address them. They're too busy making excuses. They heard a rumor you wanted it, right? Is Candy's number up because she gave my number out intentionally? No. She didn't intend on... Oh, God, let me get that out of there so I can put my cup there. Sorry, I had to remove my little heater. Made it myself. I took one of these camp stove heaters and poked some holes in the top. I put rubbing alcohol in it, 91% or higher. And then it sort of keeps me warm. Jeremy came and helped me move my stuff into storage today. All it is moving it over and over and over again. That's what everybody's suggestion is. Housing and moving, housing and moving, housing and moving. None of this gets any of the important shit done. It's all a waste of time and a waste of money. The whole time that stuff was out at Candy's, I had zero access to it. I'm glad I did finally get it back. I need this shit for court. There's no way I'm going to be able to do it in a day. Yeah, that's the kind of help that I get. And then, of course, these people don't write it down. Does anybody realize the importance of writing it down? Does anybody realize the importance of fessing up? If you make me wait for 5 weeks for an empty promise that you never fulfill, is that my choice? Does that denote that I didn't make any effort? No, I've gone to many people to try to get help. It's getting people to fucking listen that's the impossible goddamn thing to do. Now the courts, what did they do with my phone number? First thing they did was give it to Wolnez, and the first thing he did is start this shit. Oh, he ended it already. This is Andrew Wolnez. Restricted call again. He's just going to keep on calling back over and over and over again. It's bullshit, isn't it? Who gives a fuck, though, right? It's okay to do it to me. Let's take a look. Restricted, 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 all fucking morning. There's easily over 200 calls since 12:25 a.m. Damn. But I get treated like I'm making it up, like it's a delusion. The police absolutely refuse to do their jobs. They send me around to mental health like they do with every homeless person. Mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health, mental health. Housing, 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 housing. Housing does not stop abuse. When you're stuck in the same town as your fucking abusers, housing is not going to stop it. You need to be able to safely turn in abuse. And police aren't going to let you do that when you're homeless. Which means that your abusers get to harm you repeatedly. Nobody gives a shit. Now, if Candy had listened, well, things could be different. We're not supposed to look back at anything anybody else did that fucked things up because they didn't listen. Nathan doesn't want to hear it. Candy doesn't want to hear it. They want to defend themselves immediately instead of allowing me to finish. This is why we need mediators. Candy won't shut the fuck up. She gets an idea in her head and she won't shut up. Nathan gets a nugget in his head and he just can't shut up. I try telling him, hey, instead of interrupting me at the same place over and over and over again, like I didn't hear you the first time, allow me to finish what I was trying to say from the start. I heard you the first 6 fucking times. I heard you. But the decisions that you're making for me are bad decisions that result in harm. So you need to listen to the person with the experience instead of talking over him like he's a retard. Nathan did that repeatedly. Now I can understand it out of him. He's schizophrenic. He needs a lot of mental health days. He's scatterbrained and he's got less important things on his mind. Of course, that depends on your motivation. Now, even Nathan wanted to talk about how when he was younger, he'd have just gotten violent. Well, I'm glad he's not like that now. I never had anger issues like that. I never wanted to get fucked with, and that's why people fucked with me. I don't want your bullshit. I don't want to deal with Andrew Wolnez calling me hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times a day. How many calls is that? Just over and over and over again. Over and over and over and over and over. Like I said, it's one of about 6 people who are my friends who gave out my number. I was able to figure out which one as soon as I got my paperwork today. He's just going to keep calling over and over and over again. You notice I keep looking down at my phone and clicking the decline button. Oh, here we go again. He's just not going to stop. He doesn't think he should have to. He thinks it's okay to harm people. He thinks it's okay to harass people. He thinks it's okay to assault people. He thinks it's okay to bear false witness. And he doesn't want the consequences. Over and over and over and over again. So many of them in a row, they say, just now, just now, just now, just now, just now. And another one. Let's decline it. What's going to happen next? Probably another one. Thank you, Candy, for not listening. All of them say just now. Every one of them on that. Every one. All of them say just now. You see that? Candy doesn't understand that that's what I have to go through. I show it to her. It doesn't register to her. It doesn't register to Joe, her husband. His name is Joe Marino, by the way. He works in the meat department. Good intentions. All these people had good intentions, but zero follow-through on what's important. Turning in the actual crimes committed against me. Not jumping through a bunch of housing hoops. I've tried to tell these people what's going on with housing. None of them listen. They don't listen with their ears. They listen with their mouths, and you can hear it. When these people want to apportion time, that's just when they're in a hurry. Like a lot of times these folks, when they don't come through, instead of taking the time to listen like they promised, it's, well, I'll see you at work tomorrow. Okay. Well, what does that mean? It means I either have to stand in front of the deli case until one of y'all notices me, which when you're busy probably won't happen. So I'll find something else to do, or I'll get in line and I'll buy something. Or I got to come and catch you on your breaks. And a lot of times, like with Candy, for example, she's got a lot of other employees there that want to come talk to her on her break. She's also a happy, smiley, giggly type of person. She likes to have fun. Unfortunately, that's not conducive to finding out what's going on because she's got 10 things going on at once. How's she going to pay attention to me? How's she going to be able to pay attention to any of the things that I'm saying? And then there's all of the time in between where she's not getting back a hold of me. She's not connecting at all. See, she could take the time to listen to what's going on when she apportions the time to do it. And instead of me having to explain after she's already fucked up in every possible way she can. And that's where Nathan and Candy both say, hey, you're the one with the experience. But then do we do what the guy with the experience is asking? Or do we do literally anything else? Well, it's been literally anything else. See, this abuse isn't just from Wolnez. It's also from Martinez, from Officer Trent Olson, Officer Lynn Lothman. Good intentions didn't get these people to open their ears, just their mouths. When they claimed to understand, they still did not make a single call with me about what's going on. They did not speak up. The first calls that needed to be made, the very first calls, needed to be made about the police and their misconduct. Because that is a safety issue that follows me everywhere. The second thing that needed to be addressed is the abuse at the hospital. Nope. All anybody wanted to focus on was Wolnez. Wolnez is not the fucking problem. It's you not listening. It's not my handwriting that's on this stuff. It's Candy's. She's the one that helped me with it. Regardless of her intentions, her assumptions were wrong. And she was in a hurry. And I was in a hurry. And here's the thing. I wouldn't have gotten as far as I did without Candy's help. But this is a protection order. This does not turn in any of the stuff that Andrew Wolnez is doing to me. And the things that he's doing to his own family. Like, holy shit. To his own family. Coming from a family like that. Now it's got a lot of stuff that's incorrect here. Of course, I didn't write it. Wolnez is not a random person. Them youth at Tillamook Sporting Goods parking lot have been fucking with me since I got here. The police have been fucking with me since I got here. And I've had to deal with Molly fucking with me. And Farnsworth fucking with me. And a lot of other people fucking with me. But ain't none of it random. None of it. Now the phone number that's down at the bottom. Of course, I did sign my signature. But the rest of it was written by Candy. We'll put my fingers over my phone number. Now, am I glad for that help? You goddamn right I am. That was supposed to help to put a buffer between myself and Wolnez so that he doesn't have access to me. Something that should have been done with Tim Beeston. Something that should have been done with Matty Boa, with Jonathan Hickson, with Lexi Woods. It says use a safe phone number. Well, that number isn't safe anymore, is it? No, obviously not. But again, I get told it's my fault, don't I? It's my fault for recording it. It's my fault for posting it public. Well, you know what? There's a reason that I post it. There's a reason I record it. Because it's the fucking truth. We had our court on the 23rd. We got court again on February 5th. The abuse that I have to endure is because people are lazy. Especially people with a government paycheck, but there's also people who do work for a living. And what do they have to do? What do they have to deal with? The thing is in their personal lives that so many of these people are angry that it's recorded and it's public. These are their excuses for not doing the right thing. Their excuses for not coming forward about the fact that the cops are wrong. When you got to deal with somebody like, all right, for example, when I had to try to turn in Wolnez right after court, because as soon as he had my number, he had help. You notice he's still calling me from restricted number over and over and over again. I didn't hear what he said, but he keeps doing it. What's Candy gonna do about it? Nothing. She doesn't give a shit. She has shown that for the last 5 months. Yeah, we can shovel my shit from one place to another, to another, to another. That doesn't make it so that I have a place to go through it or work on it. That doesn't give me a safe place. Out of all of the great and wonderful ideas that she had, all they did was waste time. Moving my car from place to place to place to place. Lots of people offered to help me fix it, none of them followed through. So why is Candy's number up? Because her procrastinating and wasting time and literally pushing until she gets what she wants. Same thing that Rain did. Promise to help how I need. And then make a bunch of plans without me like I'm some retard that doesn't know what's going on. When I'm trying to tell you what's going on, you get bored and you want to interrupt me and say, let's do this and let's do that. How about you find out what's going on before making a bunch of plans? How about you find out from me what's going on before making plans with your mom? That's what Candy did. She made a bunch of plans with her mom without finding out what was going on. Then she wanted to push those plans and tell me what her mom said, her mom said, her mom said, her mom said, her mom said. And then we were finally able to get a hold of that feller, Micah. And she wanted to tell me over and over and over again, Micah said, Micah said, Micah said, Micah said. Yeah, I heard you the first 100 times you said it. And I don't think she literally said it 100 times, but she said it a lot. Micah said, yes, I heard you the first time. And during both of those situations, I also had to deal with Nathan. Micah said, Micah said, Micah said, Candy said, Candy said, Candy said, Candy's mom said, Candy's mom said, Candy's mom said. And what do these people all have in common? None of them took the time to listen before making decisions for me. Not with me, but for me. And no matter what, no matter how many times I said, no, it's not going to work, it's not going to work, on something that doesn't work, these people want to pretend like if they repeat it 400 times until I give in, that it was the right way to do things. No, it's not. That's just bullying. And I do that back. Nobody fucking likes being bullied back, do you? Well, don't fucking do it to me to begin with. If I matter, then stop telling me all of your fucking excuses. Tell the cops your excuses. I was gonna help Sean, but I didn't because I was sick. I didn't because there was an ice storm. I didn't because there was a flood and I couldn't get to town. I didn't because I was sick again. But you never do. You never write it down. You never try to understand the significance of it. And I can show you the significance of it by showing you a whole bunch of idiots doing the same goddamn bullshit. You procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate, saying you understand the whole time, making plans for me the whole time. But you're making plans that are not helpful. You're jumping to conclusions, and then at the very last minute, you want to rush through everything. Maybe instead of rushing through everything the last minute, maybe you should have kept your first fucking appointment, or your second, or your third. When you did finally make the time to keep your appointment, eventually, 5 weeks later, did you stop to listen then, or did it become hangout time and we'll do what you want to volunteer to do because that's all you're willing to do? You're just going to say that over and over and over again. It's disrespectful. It's demeaning. And when you're trying to be patient with people and you're having to deal with people like this, and then you're having to deal with people like Candy, who is gonna. And Nathan is gonna. But the most important thing is establishing a safety network. That means that you have a friend or family member who helps you to coordinate to turn this shit in. They've already committed felonies against me. This is not a difficult thing to do if you have a friend or family member that's not busy talking over you and constantly making excuses. Do you think Officer Martinez is going to put down any of Candy's excuses on a police report? No, he's not. Is Candy going to write it down? No, she's not. Is Nathan going to explain that he was just wanting to talk through his youthful exuberance? I need help stopping abuse. I'm not telling him these things for fucking therapy. And when he turns it into therapy over and over and over again, that really, really, really makes it difficult, because now he's all caught up in his feels and his stuff. And now he's going to talk about all this prolific sayings that he read on fucking Facebook once upon a time. Or he wants to go off about his experiences decades ago. Well, excuse me, sir, how does telling me about your stuff get you familiar with what I'm going through? How can you help someone if you don't know what they're going through? And instead of interrupting and saying, oh, well, no one can ever really know what someone else is going through, you know what you can do? You can shut up and you can listen. And yes, you are very fucking capable of understanding. But when you're constantly talking over somebody who's being victimized frequently and often, you're showing you don't care about the abuse that they're having to endure. I like Candy. I don't like the fact that there's a lot of stuff in her life that came up that really screwed my shit up. This guy Jeremy was supposed to bring me my stuff a week ago. I can't possibly go through it in a day. I got court on Monday. On the bright side, I do have a bunch of pieces of paper printed up. The problem is the help that I was promised I did not get. Story of my life, right? I'm not going to speak up about the evidence if I do look at it. But I'll give you a sandwich, Sean. I don't know how. That's because you're not listening. Have you tried here? Have you tried there? Have you tried listening? A lot of these places I'm being sent to, I've explained over and over again that there are safety issues there that need to be rectified. This entire town needs to be audited. The entire goddamn town. These folks at Safeway that want to be pissed off, at least they're not coming at me. Well, they come at me sideways, but I'm used to that, aren't I? Kind of like Wolnez. He's pissed off. So how's he retaliating? Calling me an over and over and over again from a restricted number. And how did he get the phone number? Well, Candy didn't listen. And she wanted to try to rush through it last minute. This is all stuff I could have explained to her if she'd have just shut the fuck up. I don't know how. You're goddamn right you don't know how. But goddamn teed, you would figure it out immediately if it happened to you or yours. And that's the problem with calling somebody a friend. Being friends ain't always peaches and fucking rainbows. Sometimes being friends with somebody is a ginormous pain in the ass. Sometimes you love somebody, but they're addicted to drugs. Sometimes your friend has good intentions of helping you, but you get there and she's all fucked up on Jim Beam. Or a gigantic bottle of fucking wine. Over and over and over again. small details, like Nathan with the P.O. box. He still hasn't made time to try to do something about that. He was gonna months and months ago. Just no follow through. Good ideas, good intentions. What about this person that was gonna do this? What about that person who was gonna do that? I get a lot of lazy people thrown in my face often. And I do have to say lazy. Because in all these people's minds, their job is to pawn me off on somebody else who's supposed to give a shit. And none of those places give a shit unless you do. People don't give a shit if I'm harmed. Candy doesn't care. She knows how many times I've been fucking assaulted through this. How many times did she ever try to help turn in the assaults? Nope, we're just doing the protection order thing. Meanwhile, the whole point of getting a protection order is to get Wolnez to leave me the fuck alone, so that I can turn his ass in for the actual crimes committed. It's bullshit. A lot of people will talk over me at the very beginning over and over and over again until all I can do is talk 400 miles a minute and hope they remember at least some small part of what I said. And I have to repeat it because you're going to talk in circles. When you have this nugget in your head of some retard fucking magically fix all my goddamn problems, and it won't. I have the experience and the evidence to back it up. So why don't you take some time to actually listen? Instead of saying the same thing, your magic fix for it over and over again. There is a legal process. So help me with that legal process instead of all this other retarded bullshit that you want to do instead. Why is Candy's number up? Are people going to harass Candy the way they harass me? No, they're not. And thank goodness. There's a lot of things that Candy and Nathan did do. Now, all these folks, when I explain to them how we have to go through this, and they want to wait 6 weeks to hear it from somebody else, and then they tell me, well, this person said this and that person said that. Yeah, I fucking heard them. I was there. I'd already been there multiple times before as well, which you were already aware of because I told you. And now you're telling me something that I already knew, something I told you from the start. Something that you ignored me saying over and over again. It's stupid. It's a stupid problem to be having. Andrew Wolnez has called over 100 times. Just since I started this video, he's still doing it. Is anybody doing that to Candy? Is anyone doing that to Joe? Is anyone doing that to Andrew Wolnez? Is anyone doing that to Nathan? The answer is no. This is the court's fuck up. This is Candy's fuck up. This is wolnez fuck up. A lot of people promise that they're going to help to do it the legal way, but they don't know how. They have to consult 400 other people. How are these other people going to know whether or not something's illegal when you haven't found out what's going on? You're too busy trying to find somebody to pawn me off on. That's not friendly, and that's not being a friend. When I explain to you, hey, this is important shit, that doesn't mean talk over it and dismiss everything that I say repeatedly. We got somebody calling themselves Carter Coyote or Aote, typing I don't care. Well, that person can leave, no problem. How do we do that? We hit their name, hide user on this channel, and blam, that asshole's gone. That is so easy to do on YouTube. But you can't do it in real life. Can't block restricted numbers either. Andrew Wolnez, folks. Andrew Wolnez called me from a restricted number over 100 times since I started recording about an hour ago on my YouTube channel. He is still doing it now. I don't have any way of stopping this. The way that he got my number is through my protection order against him. So I don't know if you could let the other people know who are trying to get a protection order against him. If you'd let them know that when they write down safe number, they're going to give that phone number to Andrew Wolnez if you write it down on the court paperwork. Andrew Wolnez called me from a restricted number over 100 times since I started recording about an hour ago on my YouTube channel. He is still doing it now. I don't have any way of stopping this. The way that he got my number is through my protection order against him. So I don't know if you could let the other people know who are trying to get a protection order against him. If you'd let them know that when they write down safe number, they're going to give that phone number to Andrew Wolnez if you write it down on the court paperwork. Literally everyone talks over anything that I say. Sometimes somebody will listen for a little bit and then they'll start talking, and the things that come out of their mouth show that they didn't hear a goddamn thing I had to say. This results in a lot of abuse. It results in my predators having access to do harmful things to me. such as calling me from restricted numbers hundreds and hundreds of times a day. You're disgusting people, all of you. What all these people do. How did I end up stuck in Oregon, having to get everything registered for my vehicle in Tillamook, having to become an Oregon resident because of people who promised to help me how I want, and instead bullied me to do anything else. Legal route, and will do however they want to suggest over and over and over again until you fucking do it. It doesn't matter who it is. You especially cannot get help from a woman. And it's unfortunate because they're the only people anybody listens to anymore. If you don't have a vagina, you're not going to get heard. I know heterosexual men, well, men who swore off women altogether, who have stated outright that they want to have a sex change, even though they're not interested in ever having sex again. They want to be heard. They want to have rights. All right, we got another asshole on here. What do? Take a screenshot of this fuckhead and then hide user from this channel. Pretty easy to do. What a fucking idiot. Who the hell smokes spliffs to begin with? That's just, ugh. As far as Percocet goes, man, drugs are fucked up. For some people, yeah, it might be necessary. But for most people, it ain't. Oh, now I'm getting restricted calls from both phones. Meanwhile, I'm treated like I'm delusional and made it up. I brought it on myself. Candy doesn't understand how important that shit really is, and she does need to come forward about it. So why is Candy's number up? So she has an opportunity to come forward about it. If you were telling the truth to me, you should have no problems telling the truth in court. You should have no problems making a report. Don't tell me anything you're not willing to tell the police. And if you don't trust the police, you're goddamn right I'm going to speak up about that. How many people in this town are recorded on my channel speaking about the police corruption here? At least 100, possibly hundreds. People who work at Safeway, people who work at Fred Meyer's. Wow. So you put it on quiet so that when people harass you over and over and over again, you don't have to hear it ringing, but then it just buzzes bzz, 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 over and over and over again. Please help me put a stop to this. Andrew is still calling me. I'm willing to work with whoever I need to get this to stop. I'm trying to get this done without violence, but this guy just ain't getting it. A lot of people have offered to beat him up, to shoot him, a lot of other mean things, and I keep telling him no. I want this dude to just leave me the hell alone.
Please help me put a stop to this. Andrew is still calling me.
That's right, both my
willing to work
phones are
with
going
whoever
off
I
right
need
now
to
at
get this
this
to
moment.
stop. I'm trying to get this done without violence, but this guy just didn't get me. A lot of people have offered to beat him up, to shoot him, a lot of other mean things, and I keep telling them no. I want this dude to just leave me the hell alone.
Over and over and over and over again. Does Candy have to deal with that? Does Nathan have to deal with that? They're not being addressed. They're not being addressed because these people have suggestions. Instead of dealing with the issue of having the last minute shit and fucking it up because you are still not listening. You don't know how. Well, Jesus Christ. Shut the fuck up and listen then. Maybe you'll fucking learn something. This is why the calls need to be made together. A lot of people keep trying to reinterpret what the police are saying. Well, when you take a look in the courts, you realize I was right. And you should have fucking listened. It's everybody's problem. You think you listen with your mouths. Meanwhile, nobody addresses the safety issues with the courts or with the police or their inappropriate actions. Laughing at victims of heinous crimes is not fucking okay. The lady I had to talk to down at the court window, twice I went in with Candy, and twice that woman was actually respectful. There was also the multiple occasions I had to go in alone and was treated with complete and total disrespect. That's why you go in with someone. Apparently I've got court February 12th for something. I don't know what. And here's Andrew Wolnez still harassing me. Why? Because all of these people who claimed that they would help procrastinated until the last minute, did nothing to find out what was going on, did absolutely nothing to stop the abuse, just procrastinated. My predators automatically win by calling me mentally ill. Because actual witnesses don't come forward. They pretend that they're going to. They bullshit you. They lie to you. They try to make plans for you. And yes, bully you into doing things that are against your best interest. And if you don't do things that are against your best interest, then they bully you for not trying. You should have this and you should have that. No. You should have listened to the fucking victim. You should have listened to the person in the situation so you are aware of the situation. What the fuck did Candy talk to her mom about? I don't fucking know. Every time I talked to her, she was either in a hurry or she let me know with her demeanor and behavior that it just wasn't important. But you've got those social niceties to consider. You say nice things. You say you'll help a person. In reality, any excuse to ignore the situation is a good excuse, isn't it? You show people you don't give a shit by saying things like, I'm sorry. Excuse me. We've already gone over this. When I'm harmed, I'm supposed to go to you in specific. We've already gone over this. You're supposed to help me turn it in right away. Not I'm sorry me and then ignore me for a week and then maybe in a week, maybe you'll take the time to listen, but more than likely you got a bunch of assumptions and a bunch of plans that you made during the week. So you're going to have to reschedule, or I have to jump through a bunch of hoops that you already decided are going to fix my shit, but you're not going to jump through it with me. You're going to tell me to do it myself. If you do go with me, you're going to go in uninformed. I'm getting restricted calls from both of my phones right now. Both of them. Now, how many of these people, instead of repeatedly interrupting me to talk about getting violent, how many of them could have taken that time to listen and help turn it in? All of them could have, every one of them. Good to be rid of you. Thanks for coming to visit. Stay out of trouble or don't get caught. Remember, you are your brother's keeper and your sister's keeper too, and no victim left behind.